The Galactic Council's verdict echoed through the crystalline chamber like a death sentence. Elsa stood among the human delegation, her jaw clenched as the Cravant ambassador's translator rendered the final decision into cold, mechanical words. Humanity is denied full membership. You may establish settlements in the Outer Rim territories, sectors deemed too dangerous or unprofitable for civilized species. Nick, standing beside her, felt his fists tighten. The Outer Rim, a cosmic dumping ground where failed colonies went to die, where pirates preyed on the desperate, and where ancient automated defense systems from long-dead civilizations still hunted anything that moved. "They're throwing us to the wolves," Nick muttered. Elsa's green eyes remained fixed on the Council. "Then we'll become the wolves." 15 years later, the CSS Defiance cut through the void like a blade. Elsa, now Captain Volkov, stood on the bridge watching the orbital stations of New Terran sprawl below. What had been a barren rock in the Outer Rim was now humanity's crown jewel, a thriving hub of 3 million souls who'd carved civilization from chaos. "Captain, we're receiving a distress call," her communications officer reported. "It's from a Cravant vessel. Their ship is caught in a shroud minefield near the Typhon Nebula. The Cravant, the very species whose ambassador had condemned humanity to exile." Nick, now her first officer, raised an eyebrow. "Orders, Captain?" Elsa studied the tactical display. The Council species avoided the Outer Rim for good reason. The shroud mines were remnants of an ancient war, programmed to destroy anything nearby. Most species considered them impossible to navigate. But humans had spent 15 years learning to survive out here. "Plot an intercept course," Elsa commanded. "Maximum burn." Nick smiled slightly. "The Council won't thank us." "We're not doing it for thanks, Nick. We're doing it because it's right." The rescue was textbook. Elsa's crew deployed electromagnetic countermeasures they'd developed specifically for shroud technology, creating a safe corridor through the minefield. The Cravant crew, 47 souls who'd been preparing for death, watched in disbelief as the human vessel maneuvered through what they'd considered a death trap. As the Cravant captain materialized on the Defiance's holodeck, his 4 eyes wide with astonishment, Elsa offered a slight nod. "Captain Volkov of New Terran," she introduced herself. "Your ship is secured. We'll tow you to the nearest repair station." You navigated the shroud mines," the Cravant captain stammered. "How?" Nick stepped forward. "We've been navigating them for 15 years, Captain. Out here in the Outer Rim, you learn or you die. We chose to learn." Word spread quickly. The species who'd exiled humanity had been saved by the very people they'd cast aside. But it wasn't an isolated incident. Within months, more Council ships ventured into the Outer Rim, seeking trade routes humanity had established, requesting assistance with pirate problems humanity had already solved, begging for access to technologies humanity had developed. The Outer Rim had changed. Humanity had transformed abandoned sectors into thriving territories. They'd cracked the shroud defenses. They'd negotiated with the enigmatic void traders. They'd established peaceful relations with species the Council had written off as hostile. They'd built stations where asteroids once drifted, cities where only radiation storms had existed. When the Galactic Council finally requested a formal meeting, Elsa and Nick returned to that same crystalline chamber. But this time they weren't supplicants. They were representatives of the Outer Rim Coalition, an alliance of 12 species with humanity at its heart. The Cravant ambassador who'd condemned them was long dead. His successor, the same captain they'd rescued, now sat among the Council. "The Council acknowledges," the chairman began carefully, "that our assessment of humanity was premature." Elsa remained standing, her posture relaxed but commanding. "You cast us aside because you thought we were weak, because we lacked technology, because we'd only just discovered faster-than-light travel. You sent us to the Outer Rim to fail," Nick added, "but you didn't understand what drives humanity. We don't just survive. We adapt, we innovate, we build." The chairman's translator hummed. "The Council wishes to extend an offer of full membership." "We decline," Elsa interrupted. Silence filled the chamber. No species had ever refused Council membership. "The Outer Rim Coalition doesn't need the Council's approval," Elsa continued. "What we've built belongs to everyone willing to work for it, not just those born into the privilege of the core systems. We're establishing our own government, our own trade agreements, our own future." The Cravant captain rose, his voice steady. "Then I wish to formally request that Cravant Prime apply for membership in the Outer Rim Coalition." One by one, Other ambassadors stood. Species tired of the Council's bureaucracy, inspired by what humanity had achieved, eager to be part of something built on merit rather than birthright. Nick leaned toward Elsa, speaking softly. They're going to call this a rebellion. Elsa smiled. Let them. We've been called worse. As their shuttle departed the Council station, Elsa gazed at the viewport. Beyond lay the Outer Rim, still dangerous, still challenging, still wild. But it was theirs, built by human determination, secured by human courage, and shared with any species brave enough to venture beyond the comfortable core systems. You know what's funny? Nick mused. They thought they were punishing us. Elsa nodded. They gave us exactly what we needed, freedom. Freedom to fail, yes, but also freedom to succeed beyond their wildest imagination. The stars of the Outer Rim beckoned. Somewhere among those distant lights, new colonies were being founded, new technologies developed, new alliances forged. The Council had cast humanity aside, and in doing so, they'd unleashed something they never anticipated, a species that turned exile into empire, obstacles into opportunities, and rejection into revolution. Humanity hadn't just survived the Outer Rim, they'd conquered it.